What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success, and in this video right now, what I want to share with you is a very deep lesson on how influencers affect your clothing brand. And I haven't talked about this topic nearly as deeply as I'm about to go in this video here. And what this video is going to leave you with is a very deep understanding of how it all works, the mechanisms behind how influencers actually build value inside of your brand. And this video is going to leave you with a formula for how influencers can affect your brand in a positive way and take your brand to the next level. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd, and I really haven't done a good enough job explaining just how good this website is if you're looking for very specific designs for your clothing brand. I've used Design Crowd, I continue to use Design Crowd, and I highly recommend them if you're looking for designs. And for a special $100 VIP offer for Apparel Success viewers only, you can head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn more, or simply use the discount code APPAREL when you post a project on Design Crowd. All right, I'm going to challenge you right now to think really deeply about why exactly you value the advice that I give you when it comes to running a successful clothing brand. Why exactly do you trust me and actually want to take the advice that I'm giving you to apply to your brand, to apply to your business? What's going on there? Why exactly are you listening to me? And why exactly are you watching this video right now trying to get some advice? And why are you valuing the words that I'm saying? And the reason for that, the reason why you are coming back and you're watching these videos is because I've demonstrated clearly, and I don't know if this is the first time you're watching this channel, but because I've demonstrated clearly that I run my own clothing brand, that I get results, I get orders for my own clothing brand. And if you're in a place right now where that's not necessarily happening for you, or it's not happening on the same level that it's happening for me, then you're gonna value the advice that I give you because I've demonstrated the value that I have to offer you, not through the words that I'm saying alone, but through actual real life evidence that you can see in these videos. You can go to my clothing brand, you can check it all out. And I have videos where I show pictures of me packing orders, pictures of me with orders, sending out orders, talking about how much revenue I make. And all of that has a massive effect on the amount of value that you see in what I'm sharing with you. And there's a really, really big point that I want to make here, which is that me sharing all this with you, me sharing pictures of sending out orders and actually packing orders and me in front of stacks of orders, that's not for me to show off and to be egotistical and say, look at me, I made all these orders, I got all these orders. It's for you so that you can actually trust me and actually listen to me. And that's a very, very deep lesson here on credibility and building value and sharing value, okay? Because I know that if I didn't put those things in place, if I didn't show you that I'm doing this myself, there would be way less buy-in from you and there'd be way less belief in what I have to offer here, okay? So this is an extremely deep lesson, and I really want to show you exactly what's going on when it comes to your clothing brand and how you can put this in place for your own clothing brand, because it's almost identical to building the same amount of value and showing that your clothing brand is a brand that actually has value. For my clothing brand, K-Bud Apparel, I've gotten my clothing worn by celebrities and influencers within my niche, okay, within my demographic and my audience, and that's relative to my brand concept. And the reason for that, once again, it isn't for me. It's not for me to feel cool about myself because I got these guys wearing it. It's for my audience, okay? Because they absolutely need it in order to see the value in my clothing brand. Without that, my clothing brand is basically just like any other brand that's trying to start up and that doesn't have a lot of value, right? So anytime that I get my clothing associated with those influencers, associated with those people that specifically my audience look up to, then it's raising my brand value and it's making my brand actually become something that has some sort of significance, especially with clothing brands, because when it comes to clothing brands, running a clothing brand is a very, very social thing, right? Wearing clothing out in public, why you wear clothing, it's almost entirely social. And I know I've talked about this in a lot of videos here, but I just really wanted to hammer in the other side, which is that if you don't have credibility, if you don't get influencers to wear your clothing, and if you're basically just a clothing brand that's there, that hasn't been associated with anybody who's high up socially, or anybody that your audience will view as influential to them, you are going to have a very hard time selling your clothing. That is a harsh truth. That is a very, very difficult truth to understand when you're running a clothing brand, because you want to feel like, if I launch my clothing brand, just based on the design alone and just based on that alone, it's going to do very, very well. Where in reality, it really is like 80%, 90% who your clothing brand's been associated with and the credibility that your clothing brand has to offer. And a lot of the credibility that your clothing brand has to offer is also very subtle. So another thing that can be influential for your clothing brand isn't just who it's associated with, but your following on social media, that people can see and they can witness that. Maybe it's an article that your clothing brand's gotten into, and just building that credibility, building the value in your brand, it will go so far for you, and it's an absolute must when it comes to getting results for your clothing brand. And literally the worst thing that you can do right now is come up with a whole bunch of excuses for why your brand doesn't have influencers and celebrities wearing your clothing. There's really no point to any of that, because basically, if you're just making up excuses, if you're coming up for reasons why influencers aren't wearing your clothing, then that's not going to help you actually get influencers wear your clothing at all. All that you're doing is you're basically self-loathing, and you're becoming a victim, and you're playing this whole game where it's like, I'm never going to make it, and I'm never going to be able to get onto these influencers. So it's like, I know it's hard. I know it can be tough. You send out a whole bunch of messages. You don't hear back from any of them. At the end of the day, though, you're going to have to figure it out. That's what an entrepreneur does, is they figure it out, and they send out messages when they don't feel like it. They do the things that they know they have to do, and they grind it out until they absolutely get it to happen for them. And that's exactly what happened for us. When we first started, it's not like every single message that we sent out to an influencer, to a celebrity, we heard back from, right? We have hundreds of messages that we've sent out that got zero reply at all. But that doesn't mean that we stopped. It doesn't mean that we just sort of sat back and made excuses for why we can't get anybody wearing our clothing. And to this day, we still get rejected by influencers and celebrities, okay? So it's like, you're just going to have to do it. You're just going to have to keep taking action rather than creating all these reasons for why you can't do it and why you can't actually land this for your clothing brand. I know I'm coming across really hard here, but that's just, I feel, what you need to hear sometimes, and what will actually allow it to click in your head so that you'll actually just hop on and start doing this for your own brand. Because I think that when you do it and when you push through and you actually do land that celebrity and that influencer, it's really going to have huge value for your clothing brand, and it's going to allow you to gain the momentum that you're looking for. I hope you like this video here. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and check out my free clothing brand marketing masterclass video. It's 100% free to watch. All you have to do to get access is go to apparelsuccess.com/masterclass. You can watch the whole thing for free. And if you've made it to this point in the video, I want to let you know about the closed Facebook group that we have going on for Apparel Success. There's a link in the description below. Follow that link, join us in the group, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.